this meeting. Look, this is a really, really important issue that gets almost no attention. I've been 17 years on both Foreign Relations Committee and the Intel Committee, and we've watched this cancer grow over those years, and it's not going away. It's getting worse and worse. So I'm going to start at 50,000 feet and bring this down. 1983, I traveled in China. I left China thinking, you know, we're never going to have to worry about this. They had no plumbing, they had no toilets, they had no phones, they had nothing. It smelled. It was terrible. That was in 1983. If you go there today, it's like America. Now, it took us over 200 years to get where we are, and it's taken them only a handful of decades to get where. Are they that much smarter than we are? We all know better than that. They stole every good idea that we have, except for democracy and respect for human rights. So, how'd that happen? Well, it happened because America is so open and so free that we just opened the floodgates. And today, this problem of the people coming into the labs is joined with the question of people that come into the colleges and universities. They are identical problems. And the numbers are stunning. Americans have no idea that there are hundreds of thousands of Chinese students studying in America. And we have a tiny fraction of that. And as Tom Cotton pointed out, he went and dug out the figures of the thousands of Chinese people who visited our labs, and zero have visited, of Americans have visited their labs. I'm intimately familiar with the INL, of course, the birthplace of nuclear energy and the planet. And I talk to those people all the time. I have never met a person who has set foot in a Chinese laboratory. So this is the problem. We have given away the farm, and I would disagree with Ms. Richmond about open science. We should never have given them that, but that ship has sailed. The open science is there. It's all over the internet. It's every place. But they have used it to bootstrap themselves up where they are. So let's change lanes for just a second and talk about who we're dealing with. A student who comes here, or for that matter, an engineer who comes here and goes to one of the labs, may have no malign ideas whatsoever. But for a person who lives in a communist, autocratic country, nothing belongs to them. Their property doesn't belong to them. Their thinking doesn't belong to them. Their intellectual knowledge doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the Chinese Communist Party. Because in those states, the state doesn't exist for the people, as it does in a democracy like we have. People exist for the state, and the state always comes ahead of the people. And so they take these people, when the students go home, they are debriefed by the Chinese Communist Party, and every scintilla of information they have then belongs to the Chinese Communist Party. And I mean, it's two different systems. There's absolutely no question about it. But again, it's really time to slam the door on this thing. I have preached about this for years, and with all due respect to the scientific community, I can't get it through their head that this is a national security issue. They say, well, we're all on this planet together. The knowledge we have helps everybody. Well, yeah, to a degree, if we're fighting polio, that's true, but not when we're designing quantum computers. It's not like that at all. And we shouldn't be sharing that information at all. And by the way, I get real pushback from the colleges and universities. Why? There are millions of dollars being transferred from China to the colleges and universities. And those colleges and universities get very defensive of the grants and that they get from the Chinese Communist Party. Anyway, that's where we are. Folks, how do we get the word out to the community, and how do we get the word out to Americans that this is a huge problem? And I only got a few minutes left. Start down here and give me your 30-second take on that.
Okay, thank you, Senator. First, I just want to add, the whole issue of basic science comes up quite a bit, but it's important to note the collaborations are very important, and I myself have been a proponent for open science. However, I think what's lost in that conversation is not everything is shared, and that is the challenge, because what is happening is that the time and resource-intensive parts of that basic research Oftentimes the data, the know-how, the access to how do I actually do something, and oftentimes what doesn't work is what's stolen. And so those are the kinds of things I think that we really need to focus and have that conversation.
Ms. Richmond, I'm almost I am out of time. Give me a short shot, and I'm going to give you.
Yeah, let me say, glad to meet you. I have been through Chinese laboratories back in 2010.
Oh, I've met somebody, finally. All right, I've met one. How many
met one.
people in America?
Okay, sorry to be
333
the
million? All right, I've got one.
Yeah, but the point is, things are changing.
By the way, did you get into the Wuhan lab? Because we're really interested in getting in there. Probably not.
You know,
Go
I
ahead.
can't read Chinese, so I have no idea what lab I was in, okay? But the point is, you raise a very important point. Things are changing. Your issue about the open science is right. But on the other hand, collaborations are really important too. But again, I believe that we need to have a full discussion of this out in the open. Universities need to, and faculty at universities need to understand that they could be involved in the areas of high-performance computing, AI, quantum, bioscience, biotech, accelerator science, battery science, that we at the labs consider to be extraordinarily high risk, so that they can understand that they are
You
important.
got that exactly right.
Yeah.
Paul?
Senator, I think this is a big but narrow topic. America is the bright light to recruit people from all around the world who want to work at the DOE national labs. And people want to become Americans, and I think that's good. We have, when I was there, we had 4 lab directors who were naturalized citizens from the UK and Canada and Germany and so on. And that's excellent, right? They came here, they became American citizens. We're still a very small percentage of the world in terms of population in the big scheme of things. And I think doing that and all the other people underneath them with citizens from all over. China's a topic.
China's a problem.
China's the biggest topic.
Those people can't stay here.
That's
We all know what happens to their families if they say, hey, we're giving up China and we're going to become a U.S. citizen. They'll start, well, anyway, I don't want to go into that. They do bad things to their families. So my time's up. Thank you.
Senator Cortez Masto.